Now this isn't going to be the type of video you usually click on when you come to my channel. As you see, I like to unbox Transformers, but why did I want to do something that was gaming related, especially with the Transformers for a year anniversary for this channel? It's hard to believe after a year this channel has grown with how fast it's went. I was really surprised at that, especially given the circumstances with the content, and also in Scotland there's not a lot of big YouTubers. There is a good few, but it does take that little bit for us to get more notice. Why do this game review? Or 6 games review? And I'll tell you, when I first started on YouTube, I was under the channel The Gaming Fault. I'd done that for 9 years. Right away, the games I wanted to do were the Transformer games, because Transformers is my passion. Why not incorporate that into my videos? Now, if you go back to The Gaming Fault, which the channel's still there with all my old content, the Transformers game for 2007 is probably the highest video I ever got, nearly hitting 400k views, which still to this day I'm still over the moon with, and I can't be more proud of that than when I first made it. But why redo these videos? And why do it the way I want to do it for the year anniversary? Simple. If you were to go back and watch those videos, especially with how I spoke, how my equipment recorded, how I sound as in microphone quality, everything was terrible. I cringe when I look back at those videos because I think I could have done better, even given the equipment I had at the time. Now it's completely different. Everything is a lot crystal clear. I can now render at 1080, etc, etc. And I'm having more of a blast making the review videos of the toys, which I think was the right thing to do a year ago. As you know, if you came to the channel at the start, it was going under the name Allspark Reviews. That had to be changed due to millions of reasons, and then it became Optimus Wilbur Reviews, and I think a lot of people associate me more with that name than they ever did with Allspark. Starting things off, we're going to start with Transformers Armada, or just simply Transformers in the PlayStation 2, made by Atari. This game stood out at the time because it was the only Transformers game I had. Now, regarding the Famicom version or the Beast Wars game, I never had them. I tried the Famicom game and it was a download, but I didn't really enjoy it as much because of the notorious difficulty, and this was more up my street. What Atari did with this game, using the full Argonaut system, which was probably my first time using that control scheme, which, if you guys don't know, the Argonaut system is basically what we play with Call of Duty and Battlefield, etc. 90% of the games use this system now with the dual sticks and the shoulder buttons. So having it built into the Transformers game worked. It really worked. With a simple button press of triangle, you could instantly transform. Hitting square would put on your power link, and your Minicon would just join on to you. Even you could zoom in first person. This game done so many things right. It was brilliant. The difficulty was fair. The harder you set the difficulty, the better the challenge was in the game, and it paid off later on. My only concern with the game was the fact you never got to go any Decepticons. You only got to go 3 Autobots in Optimus Prime, Red Alert and Hotshot. That was it. Optimus Prime still voiced by Gary Chalk at the time. The Unicron trilogy was on at the time, and as people know, back to some old videos with Transformers Armada, especially the Optimus Prime Megatron, that's what got me back into collecting. So this was a dream come true, getting this game, especially at the time when the PlayStation 2 cycle was nearing the end. I think there was a couple of years before it went straight to PS3 and 360. But at the time, this game was fantastic, scoring very high with critics alike. If you managed to collect all the Minicons, then you got to do battle with Unicron, which was brilliant. It was absolutely fantastic to actually see him in a game. Fortunately, he never transformed, so you're just taking him on in planet mode. But to get the amount of content you did and how long the game took, especially for a PlayStation 2 game, it was worth it. If you have it still or you never tried it, and if there's a way you can get access to this game, by all means try this game. Fantastic Transformers game, and it stayed that way for a long time. Up next was probably the biggest one we were waiting for. Same year we got finally the 2007 live action movie. The year I got married, Transformers the game came out. And this was the highest video I had, and all I did was slate this game. This game is an abomination. Why? Well, take one look at it. Apart from the graphics being really shoddy on a 360, and a camera angle that wobbles so bad you can get motion sickness, the gameplay was just very boring. They left it as a collectathon with forgettable Decepticons to make up for the ones you're going to be taking on, not in boss fights with the cast from the movie. Now, you did get to go the movie cast, I will give them that, and they did get Peter Cullen back to voice Optimus Prime, but the problem lied with how the game ran, how the game played, and even in driving sections, it felt like you were on ice. Every zone played the same, it was just a different setting and a different Transformer. 1 minute you can be Bumblebee racing through the streets, collecting parts or going through icons, but you can do this exact same with Blackout or Starscream. Even adding extra skins in just never made the game more appealing. It just showed that this was fan service, but in a bad way. It was like Activision didn't really want to try, and Activision is notorious for this, putting out games, especially for movies, that the publisher forced the development team to rush. And I think the team at the time never had enough time or a good enough system that could put out the game they wanted to make, which is unfortunate, but it always will be remembered as the bad game of the Transformer game generation. When I'm talking about the game generation, I'm talking about PS3 360, I'm not talking about handheld or Wii, I'm talking about the ones that were predominantly on the PlayStation and Xbox. Of course, with any sequel, you're going to get a sequel game, so Transformers Revenge of the Fallen was up next. And what do you get with a mediocre movie in the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen? You actually get a half-decent game, which I was really surprised at. Given to the team that was always behind Tony Hawk's game, they managed to do a better job at telling the story than the actual screenwriters ever could, with battles between Devastator and stuff, having a lot of the characters in, even adding a few extra ones which you never really seen in the movie. They'd done something really nice, adding all the extras in as well, including a good few episodes of Season 1 and Generation 1. Extra skins, multiplayer was finally here, and multiplayer played like a charm. It was really good. Only complaint I had of the game was the fact that transformation was basically the shooting button. That R2 button, or at the time it was the right trigger button on the 360, it would only work for attacks if you held in L2 or LT. But they did do a good job, and it was a good game. It was that good, I actually 100%ed it, and I still enjoy it. It was such a good game. Sticking with the movie games, we're going to move on to Transformers Dark of the Moon, and this was developed by High Moon Studios. Now, of course, you know that name, and they are still working with Activision, developing the Call of Duty maps over with Treyarch and Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer. And these guys did a cracking game before this one, but let's talk about the movie trilogy before we go any further. Dark of the Moon was rushed, and at the time, it's kind of clear now that High Moon Studios were split between basically 3 games. So they had a small development team work on Transformers Dark of the Moon, obviously one in Deadpool, and then of course for Cybertron. Using the same mechanics they did in War for Cybertron, they tried to implement it here in Dark of the Moon. And it paid off in certain aspects, but I still felt the gimmick of what made War for Cybertron really good didn't really fit in the live action style. Now, we only got kind of 9 levels, I think even less. I think if I go back, it's probably about 8 or 7. And it was an extremely short game, and it was just based on difficulty and a high score. There wasn't many unlocks. It did have multiplayer, and like War for Cybertron, multiplayer was really addictive. And that's where a lot of people went. There was a lot of people playing this in multiplayer. Just, it was too short. But that's no fault in the developer. Just Activision as usual, pushing the envelope to get a game out for the movie because kids will get it. It's always the way to look at these games in the game industry. So let's move to next gen and let's quickly go over two games that one I have never played, still to this day, and it's still sealed. And the other one which I started, but at the time there was more games and I was working, but it's a fantastic game. Transformers Rise of the Darkspark is probably considered next to Transformers the game as the worst Transformers game. With High Moon Studios moving on to the likes of Call of Duty, they left them kind of the same coding and the same gameplay, but they messed it up big time. And it looked really terrible, especially on a next-gen gaming console. Again, this game looked rushed, and you could clearly see it. Forgettable, nothing much more to say. Transformers Devastation by Platinum is incredible. Taking the game back to the G1 roots, and even making it look like a G1 cartoon, a home run in my opinion, because this is right up my street. With classic games for like Bayonetta, and of course with the people who worked on the Devil May Cry series, Platinum have always held a special place in my heart. So to see them do a Transformers game, I knew it was going to be good, and it was. Unfortunately, like I said, with work and other games at the time when this game came out, it kind of sat in the back burner, but I never forgot the special place it had. Maybe I might do a Let's Play on this channel, or I'll stream it on Twitch. You never know. I still own the game, I still love it. I don't like to trade my games in. It's kind of like I collect Transformers and I collect games. So let's bring it back some way or another to let you guys see it and enjoy it. So finishing up, let's talk about War for Cybertron. This game kind of came out of nowhere, and it took a lot of fans by surprise and a lot of gamers by surprise because it was so addictive. What High Moon Studios did was take the basics from Transformers and a lot of characters, so let's ignore anything that's happened in Generation 1 because you're going to see characters popping in and out that you could say were in Generation 2, Season 3, stuff like that. And what they did was tell a fantastic story of how Optimus became a Prime, tried to take on Megatron during the actual war on Cybertron. It was fantastic, with great gameplay, a great narrative, and even a fantastic multiplayer. This game done something right. With vehicle combat as well, it didn't feel gimmicky. It actually felt like you're in a proper Transformers war. And having a vast range of characters from Decepticons and Autobots' side, because there's two different stories leading up to the final, they did the right move and made a fantastic game, which for a long time still held my favourite Transformers game. Fall of Cybertron was the sequel, and many consider it the last great Transformers game. My opinion, I say Devastation's better, but it's everybody's opinion, but Fall of Cybertron is a great game. Following up the success for War for Cybertron and after Dark of the Moon, Fall of Cybertron came out with anticipation of how High Moon Studios going to deliver this game. This game came out and it was absolutely incredible. Again, a mixture of characters, but gone were the selection of picking an Autobot or Decepticon. It was set to chapters where you played either an Autobot or Decepticon and they picked it for you. But what they did introduce was, of course, Bruticus and the Dinobots, and getting to play Grimlock in this game was fantastic, and it was the high selling point of this game, also introducing Metroplex at the time. Multiplayer like War for Cybertron, this game was incredible. Fun multiplayer team deathmatch and other modes made this game really good to play, especially in the transformation combat sequences. Like War for Cybertron, they just worked. They worked perfect. And these two games are probably staples of where the Transformer games should have stayed, and not try to do movie games like Rise of the Darkspark or any of the other ones you've seen. So out of the small game selection we had of the Transformer games, if you're looking at the PlayStation 360 and PC, we were lucky with Transformers Armada, Fall of Cybertron, War for Cybertron and Devastation. If you're going to play any of these games, these are the games I would pick up and try. Unfortunately, thanks to Activision, they don't have the rights anymore, so try to get these games is a nightmare. You're probably best looking on eBay or pre-owned in your local GameStop or Game and getting them that way to play. Now, would I recommend any of the other ones? I'd say Revenge of the Fallen, but if you're like me and you like collecting games and close with the Transformers, why not have the complete set? It's a small part of history when Transformers, during the period 2007 to probably about 2014, was untouchable. Now things are looking bright with Bumblebee going over a record 400 million box office worldwide, with a sequel now in talks to do. Things are looking good again for Transformers, and especially for Transformer fans with the toy lines coming out. Once again, guys, I want to thank you for taking your time listening to this video. I wanted to do this video because I wanted to do something special for the 1 year anniversary and give these reviews much more justice than I originally did. And that's why I'm using the old footage to let you see them, because I wanted you to experience what it was like to see when I first started YouTube, and this is what I had to work with. But I wanted to put in a new voiceover, so things were a little bit different. I wasn't going to go back and play these games. I've tortured myself enough playing games over the years, and I just wanted to have fun with this video, so I hope you really enjoyed it. So guys, thank you for supporting the channel, thank you for sticking around me for a year, and let's see what happens for the year coming into year 2 on the channel. Thank you everyone for tuning into the video today. Remember, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button as well, and that notification bell so you know that a new Optimus Wilbur review goes live. Also, be sure to check me out on Facebook, Optimus Wilbur Reviews, Twitter Rodimus8, and Twitch at Optimus Wilbur 85. Just hit that in the search engine at the top. Also, if you wish to become a Patreon or buy from the merch store, look in the description box below. Lastly, I'd like to thank the Cybertronic Spree for allowing me to use their music. Cybertronic Warrior is the theme for the channel. Please check them out on YouTube, Twitter and Facebook and give them the support they deserve. This band is fantastic and do amazing covers, so please send your support to them. And remember, Transformer fans, till all are one.